of alcohol. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Oh my goodness. Boy, we got a crew in here this morning. Wow. How was everybody's Christmas? No, mine was good. Well, let's see.
Mine was
We
Had a
got,
good Christmas.
yeah. Hey, Allison. Good morning, Allie. Digger. Good morning, Digger. Whoops. Now my thing screwed up. Hang on a second. I got to start over. We popped live. Okay. Gerald Stewart. Good morning, Gerald. Steve Anderson. JD Grandpa Rails. Good morning, John. Dave BNSF. Stephen Wigwag. Chuck CDP. Steve Childers. Stephen Wigwag. My buddy Bernard. Good morning, Bernard. Thomas Trains. Good morning, Thomas. Let's see who else we got here. We got Chris Brew. Good morning, Chris. Why don't you on the show, man? Scott Baker. Good morning, Scott. Let's see.
I see somebody new.
Let's see. Let me get back in here and
Glenn G. There's one I haven't seen before.
welcome, Glenn. Hope you like the show. Mark Pruitt. Good morning, Mark. Let's see who else we got. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
If you're new, don't judge us by this show. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We were thinking that Sparky was going to be on this morning. I emailed him earlier this week, and he agreed. And I emailed him last night, and I emailed him this morning, and he must have other things to do. I can understand. He's probably building his model railroad, right?
Yeah.
If I wasn't here, that's what I would be doing at the moment. So
He might pop in, you know.
Hey, Steve Childers wants to know if Gail's cooking bacon.
Gail is actually in there reorganizing, condensing, and consolidating Christmas ornaments.
Eesh.
Was she going to get rid of some?
I think we've gotten rid of a lot already.
Yeah.
I think everything that we don't want is what little bit there is left she's probably dealing with. I'm just trying to figure out, I don't want to put the Christmas tree back up here because I'm getting ready to extend. Now we're going to bring this back to model railroading. I'm going to extend the bench work out this way. And so my manhole up in the loft area, I'll still be able to get to it, but I would rather find a better place for those trees. There's two great big huge bags for the Christmas tree. They're bulky, and I don't know when I'm going to put them yet, but I don't want to put them back up there. That'll be a thing today. I saw some
video of some lady that she wraps her Christmas tree up in plastic and then puts it away. Everything. I mean, takes all the ornaments, everything, takes the whole tree, wraps it in plastic, and then stores it for the year.
I dated a girl in high school. They had kind of a whole huge back storage room. They literally took their entire tree and moved it back there, and it stayed up year round in the back storage room. And then they just pulled it out and put it in front of the fireplace at Christmas time. Very efficient.
Oh boy. Let's see who else we got. Floyd Robbins popped in. Good morning, Floyd. Roy Hardwick, our favorite trucker. Good morning. I think I saw somebody else. Hugh Jassel. Good morning, Hugh. And Tammy. Good morning, Tammy. Mom and son rail fans. How are you guys doing? Well,
Dan?
as you can see, and Jack. Dan's model railroading journey. Is that new? Are you new, or am I just zoning?
I think
we've got. I'll probably butcher this. Zerato Eastern Rail Fan Production. Good morning.
Cool.
So
now we were talking before the show in the green room. I haven't seen Lynn McCurdy in a day or two. Does anybody know what's going on with Lynn? Is he on a vacation? I hope. There's Joe.
Anybody see?
Good morning, Joe. Randy's Rock and Roll Railroad. Well, let's see. And as you can see, we have no topic as usual.
Yeah. But we do have questions because I know Jerry has got a few projects he's been working on, so maybe that'd be a good segue into talking to us about what you've been working on, Jerry.
So I built a little kit, and it had it came with this as a loading dock, right? And it was a little too small. It was just sorry. And so I extended it with some styrene. It's a little
Oh,
different,
cool.
but yeah. So put some legs
So
on it.
what is it a kit in and of itself, or is it part of a larger kit?
Oh no, it's just a small little kit. Came with this and a building. I don't know where I put the building at. It's just a little building that would fit on this. Not totally, but kind of fits on here somewhere. Uh,
Like a freight
yeah, like a
house?
freight building. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess. Um, but yeah, I'm going to use it in my transload facility. So it's too. This part is too small for me.
Okay.
So it winds up being like 26 scale feet this way, 28, 20 something, 27, 28, something like that. And like 44 this way. So I may put a cover over it, like a roof. I bought some corrugated roof material, and I'll just put some posts up, some like I-beams, whatnot. And it comes with a ramp, but I'm building another ramp that's longer. So I did that. That was a nice little project that I did. Never did any scratch building before, and it was fun.
Docks are a good thing to start scratch
Yeah, I
building
mean, it
with.
was pretty
Yeah.
simple, right? I mean, a lot easier than scratch building a building.
I think my very first scratch build was a similar dock. Mine's kind of a lean-to dock.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I may put something over it. And then John 2618 told me about this company, GHQ. GHQ. And they do die cast. And I bought this at Yankee Dabbler and put it together. It's hard to see it because
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
It's all die cast. I have a video of this out.
How many pieces is it in the kit?
I mean, everything's a piece, like the frame is, the only solid thing.
What's it stuck on?
Tacky glue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just that's how I painted it,
Okay.
how I was holding it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, all this, like the lifting mechanism was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Yeah, quite a bit of pieces to be truthful.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
that's why I was curious.
and they're soft, like they're white metal, so they bend, like you breathe on them and they bend, which is kind of like, I mean, it's good and it's bad, but it's not something you play with, right? I mean, you just pose it like this is adjustable. You could put the lift anywhere you want, right? Up, down, in between. But
But once you put it there, it's solid, right? You
yeah,
have to
once you
glue it in
put it,
that
yeah, you
position.
glue it. Yeah, you're gluing everything together. I used CA glue for everything.
Oh, there's Sparky. He said 5 minutes.
I'll be there in
Oops,
5
I
minutes.
missed him.
Okay. Thanks.
Nice.
Thank
There
you.
we go. Oh,
Yeah, it turned out good. I'm happy with it. That's the first time I ever put something like that together.
I see him in the in the queue or whatever that's called. So I guess I'll wait for him to actually show up. So since before Sparky gets here, I'll go ahead and show you what I've been, have you got anything else you're working on, Jerry?
No, that's it.
I have been working on, and I don't think I've even posted any pictures on Facebook yet or on my channel.
Make yourself bigger so we can see.
Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to move some stuff off of it.
Yeah, you
Turntable. This
Yeah.
is Kitwood Hills. They're a European. And so without going into great detail, the inner pit, I'm not finished with that yet. I'm not 100% sure what I want it to look like when I'm finished. But this is, I used, where's it at? I think I've got it right here in front of me. This is fiber paste.
What's that like?
It's kind of like working with joint compound or a real smooth, easy to spread. What's it called? What does everyone use? Like
Hydrocal?
fast mash or Sculptamold. It's a lot easier to spread than Sculptamold.
Is there something in it?
Do what?
It's called fiber paste. Is there like some
Fiber paste? Yeah, and it's you can get it in varying degrees. Like this is I think this is fine.
So there's some type of fiber.
You can get it thick or thin. This is fairly thick. So
is there some type of fiber in it?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like maybe literally fiberglass. I don't know, but it has kind of a gritty texture to it.
Like you don't have all these little hairs sticking up in the surface.
No, not at all. Once it dries, it's a really good representation of earth, and you can even sand it down afterwards. I am gonna put some kind of earthen material, at least in some of it, because there may be a lot of cinders in here. I haven't decided, but then I've also got a pretty good start on the bridge, and I'll just say that this is one of the best design kits that I've ever put together.
Who makes that?
Kitwood Hills is the name of it. Now this is a 65-foot gallows turntable kit, but just how everything's designed. Here's the commutator. The wires come down from the bridge and they solder in either side of those two holes. And then this outside ring comes in contact. I haven't taken them out of the bag yet, but see that? That's spring loaded. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
But that ring rides on top of that in a very specific location and provides electricity to the bridge. And I haven't really found anything that is not well designed. And with that, here's Sparky. Can you hear Sparky? We have comms.
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Welcome to the show.
We were just getting ready to get started on other things, and here you are. So we've got plenty of content to talk about now. We were struggling. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. First off, I got to hear Steve say something.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
He never says anything good though.
Oh.
Okay, well at least you got to say something. You got to say something this show, so that's good.
Good morning, Sparky.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow. Yeah, I came out to the shed this morning, and of course the computer didn't want to light up. So
understandable.
Yeah,
I
well,
always have some angst anytime I'm running the show because I don't do it enough. But I'm like, I better start like at 6 in the morning and make sure that I've got everything going like it should. So
real quick, Mark asked a question. You see to you, Dennis. Kitwood Hills.
So the answer to that is that once every maybe quarter or every 6 months, he does a run of HO scale. And so I have paid attention. I've got everything I need now, but before I didn't have anything, I would frequently go to his site and look for when the next run was going to be. So the first time I caught him, I got 2. And then this last time I got lucky and found him getting ready to do a run in October, and I got the Durango turntable. I will probably build it next. So that's how that works.
Where are they?
Do what?
Where are they from? The UK?
The UK, yeah.
How much was shipping?
Huh?
Shipping a lot?
I mean, it's not, the price of the kit itself is reasonable enough that you don't even care about the shipping.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, that this kit is less than $100. And to me, it's I think it's like 93 pounds. I think it comes to about $80 US right now. I can't remember exactly, but with shipping, I think I paid right at $100, maybe a little less, a little more, which is an extreme for a kit that's as well designed, as well made as that is. It's a steal, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sometimes you find those deals, right?
So Sparky, what have you got going on?
Well, get 2 weeks off my job for Christmas holidays type thing. So this time I actually decided to do as much work as I could get done in the layouts, and I got things shifted around. I can't really show you guys. There'll be a video come out later today, I think, kind of a layout update. I've actually tried to ballast. My yard's been here for two and a half years now. So I figured, okay, let's start throw some ballast down and see what that looks like. All these videos that people see that make it look so easy. I nope.
Well, so I guess that would be one of my first questions. Is this your first layout?
This is kind of my second layout when it comes terms to YouTube. I had one in the basement that kind of got flooded out. So
yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that years and years ago now, kind of out of memory, right?
Yeah.
So once that happened and the wife wanted a place for a wood shop, we built this shed. I wanted a 2-level shed, but of course the city said I couldn't have it. And my trains would have been on the second level of the shed. But we got this shed built just for the trains, basically. So,
well, was the previous layout, was it similar in size and scale of the layout now, or did you do something way over the top of what you had already started?
Yeah, this is kind of way over the top. So
yeah,
in the basement, we did an addition on the house. That's where I put, I guess this will be my third layout now that we actually think about it. Sure, memory lane, eh? So the first one was in a crawl space, basically. It's 3.5 feet, so I had to almost go down and sit on the floor. Did the bench work so it all looked like normal and everything else. The old rock wall for my basement was the backdrop. Looked pretty cool. Then we built.
Wow.
Yeah, then we built the addition. Then I moved it into a room that was 22 by 16. Made I thought, a pretty nice layout there, and that's where it ended up getting flooded. So, and then this shed is 45 by 18.
That's big.
Yeah, well, the layout's only 32 by 14, I think. So
yeah, it needed a space for the lawnmower.
That's what it was too. You remember?
Yeah.
Needed the space for what?
The lawnmower.
Oh, lawnmower. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I built the shed, and Jerry's right, I got the permit for the shed and everything else, and it was just that, a shed. So they kept coming out here, and then I put windows in it, And they're like, well, are the windows on the plan? I'm like, no, but you need a breeze or whatever. And literally, he measured from the fence of my neighbors to the windows. And if it was less than 5 feet, I had to cover in the windows. And he wasn't looking. I pushed the fence over. And exactly, I had 5 feet.
Funny.
That's crazy to me, because where I live, I didn't ask a single soul a damn thing. I built what I wanted to build, and nobody has said boo. I didn't even. I found out about 2 years after the building came in, the assessor had came around and did add the building to my property tax, and they also added a building that was here like for almost 8 years before. And I'm like, what is this new structure? And it was really kind of weird, but I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with any kind of building codes around here.
Yeah.
I
So
could fill in the whole show just building my shop and dealing with the county and
Wow.
code.
Wow.
You
Make
know,
my long story short, what Jerry was saying about the lawnmower is the very last inspection I had. It was just a shed, not insulated, no electricity, no nothing out here. And he came out and he said, "So what are you going to use the shed for anyway?" And I said, "Well, it's for a lawnmower." He's like, "How big's your lawnmower?" I walked him through the door, and the lawnmower was sitting right in the middle of the room. And I said, "That's the only thing I've got to sit out here." He's like, "So you built this shed for a lawnmower?" "I don't believe you." I said, "Yeah, so?" He says, "So you're going to run electricity out here?" I said, "No, I can't do that. I don't have the permit."
yeah.
"Oh, well, you going to insulate it?" "No, I don't have the permit for that." "Oh,
Good Lord.
okay." So he signed off on the final permit. A week later, I had electricity out here and it insulated. And he was knocking on my front door saying, "So I just want to check out that shed." And I said, "No, you signed off on the permit. See you later, bud."
That was good, man. Yeah.
Now,
Now,
I'm sure if he
are you an
wants to come back
electrician
and
by
look now, he
trade?
can. I'm on tours and stuff like that. So
Are you an electrician by trade, Sparky?
I am, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. That's cool. That's very cool. Uh-oh, we lost him.
He
Yeah,
goes,
you didn't lose me. I just had to shut off the heater.
Oh, okay.
he doesn't have any pants on.
Wow, I've still got my
So-
pajama bottoms on. It's Saturday.
So talk us through the, having not built anything on this size or scale. What did you use any kind of computer assisted drawing, or did you just start putting stuff on? What was your original design up here in your head, and has it changed, from your original design to where you're at now? Kind of walk us through that, because I always find those things very interesting.
I always knew I wanted 3 levels. I'm not sure why, but I had it in my head. I wanted 3 levels all the time because I love to watch trains run. I'm not good in the switching and operation stuff like that. So trains running, and the longer the train, the better. Designing the Helix was kind of I was a feat in itself, trying to get 3 levels off of a Helix.
I remember that.
Yeah, trial and error that came out. Of course, that's the second Helix too. The first one was made out of wood and thinner
I
plywood.
remember that.
Oh yeah, I took the Sawzall out to get rid of that, and I think it's probably one of my better videos too. I just start chopping away and stuff like that. But I never had a track plan. The only thing I wanted to make sure I had was the St. Thomas Yard, because that's where I grew up. I walked across those railroad tracks every day to go to high school. And then I also worked at a pizzeria, and every day to get to work, I walked across those tracks. So twice a day, 4 times a day, I'd walk across those tracks. Always trains running, a couple GP7s in there, and that was my dream. So I had to have that on my layout. After that, it was just, if I can find out how to model the area, that'd be great. But I don't care. Just as long as I got trains running.
You want to run trains. Yeah, I totally understand.
Sparky, what's the longest train you've ever ran on your layout?
That actually kept running.
No, that doesn't have to count.
So the longest one that I tried to do with my layout, I can get the main level so it just runs by itself. And I actually had a train running almost one full loop the whole length of my layout. So it was a couple locomotives, 40 or 50 cars, a couple locomotives, 40, 50 cars. And I actually had it end to end. So it'd be an endless train. And like
I
said,
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it made it maybe half a loop before things just didn't work out properly. So, but you want to get frustrated with model trains, try to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's not a fun hobby when you put a goal to it that you just can't get it.
Well, you spend a lot of time assembling that train.
Yeah.
Like hours.
Yeah,
right?
probably as much time putting it all together as you do, actually trying to run it.
And that dream's still stuck in my head too. I still want to actually run that train.
Sometimes you don't get to run it as long as you took you to put together.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The biggest problem I got for longer trains and stuff, of course, is my helix, right? You put any kind of slope into a layout and you're adding resistance, and then the curves on top of that, you're adding more resistance. So cuts down on the trains to really answer Steve's question about 30, 35 cars, and I'm maxed out.
So, like, on that note, right? I don't know if you guys watch What's Neat, Ken Patterson. Their last show, they talked about the new Broadway Limited die-cast or brass locomotives that they have. They're like modern GEs, and one locomotive they hooked up to this thing. 151 cars it filled. 101 locomotive. It's like the locomotive weighs like 2 pounds. It's got so much power. They were breaking couplers on the cars. 151 with one locomotive.
Yeah, that's another aspect that most people don't ever have to consider is how much force can you actually put on a KD coupler before it will snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing with Ken Patterson's layout too is it is completely flat. So even when he's got bridges and stuff like that on his layout, you go across, like I've been to his layout. So if you actually took a level on his track, it's level all the way around. He actually builds down to make bridges and stuff like that. So
it's a whole different game there. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a flat layout. You can run as many cars as you want and stuff like that. There's no resistance or play or anything. So it is an amazing layout, that is for sure, to look at and stuff like that. But
what is your biggest grade? Do you know?
My biggest grade is 2%, and that's close to the top of the helix.
Okay.
Most of it's 1.8.
And what's the radius?
20. Well, what is it now? 24 and 26.
So when you made the decision to take the Sawzall to it, what was the deciding factor of either what you didn't get right the first time? What played into that?
I'm not a woodworker. I'm an electrician. So when I order 1/2-inch plywood and I got like 3/8 stuff, I guess it would be, Jerry, is 3/8 is smaller, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So, and I put it together with little wooden pieces on the side to make it go up to 2% all the way around.
Yeah, I remember.
That 3/8 plywood, it just warped. So every time I was trying to run a train, they derail or they get all funky or come on. And I just got to the point where it was either a sledgehammer or a Sawzall, and I might as well do a video of it because I'm going to have fun taking her out.
So instead of the 3/8, what did you use on the second one?
Now this is actually 1/2-inch plywood, but it's commercial, I guess, cabinet grade it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
we did this one. Go ahead.
You did threaded rod too for being able to adjust it, right?
That was a huge step.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people use the threaded rod.
Yeah.
So
this one, when we made it, we did with the threaded rod, like you guys said, we cut out all the pieces first. They're all painted, and then they all sat in here for about a week and a half, and then we started putting things together. So
Yeah.
The very first thing I tried to do when I got into the hobby, I think I had one car, and I don't even think I had bought a locomotive yet. And I had just enough track that I tried to build a helix. And it was such a disaster that I told myself I will never attempt to build a helix again. And even though I knew that a helix right here and a helix right there would have been probably, if designed right and made right, would have been a really good thing for the room, I just refused to do it. So I've got a Nolix.
they are an art form all on their own. It's a special part of the hobby, I would think.
Now, Sparky, the way your layout stands right now, what is there one thing that stands out in your mind that you would have done differently?
Well, that's pretty much what I've been doing because, like I said, I've always liked to run trains. My top level's done, just a little bit of scenery. But the second level was just basically the same thing, running trains around. It was a giant dog bone is what my layout is, right? And the more I had people come over and the more we started switching down here, and then we added some switches on the second level. And now my second level, I've ripped it completely apart and put in some double crossovers, more switching, container yard, ma and pa little places that just get one or two box cars. Like my layout went from I'm just going to run trains to now it's operational. So that's the biggest change that I've done through the times. Is I still myself haven't got into the switching aspect of it in operations, but a lot of people that come over here are. So that second level's been made more for operations. So
yeah, it's nice.
I think that's a natural progression. I know my first layout, I had like two little staging tracks back behind a place where I could spot cars. And then I had an engine yard and like two or three classification tracks or whatever. But really all I ever did was run trains. And the second layout was a folded dog bone. And again, I had places where I could spot cars in a yard, but it never really didn't have any purpose, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And then I found out that JMRI Operations was a free download. I got it to make changes on the decoders. I got Decoder Pro. I didn't even care about Panel Pro, right? I wasn't going to put any panels or do anything fancy electronic or anything. I just wanted to be able to go in and easily edit my CVs because I was all about getting the trains to run. And then I found that Operations Pro on Panel Pro and then started messing around with it. And then all of a sudden, my entire mindset changed from running trains to operating trains. So I think that is something that happens to a lot of people. They begin running trains and they're like, what's the purpose now? I can run them, but can I operate them?
mm-hmm. Yeah, and that just comes with time of being in the hobby and stuff like that. It's just like we always say, your layout's never done, and that's one of the reasons is you're always going to change something in it, either track work, the scenery, or running trains to operations. Like it to me, it's always evolving into something else that you didn't intend on it to be part of. So
yeah, what's something that like when you started building it, what's something that you wish you would have known then that you know now? What was the biggest learning curve for you, I guess?
I still think it's selective compression. I still can't get that part in my head that something doesn't have to be huge to be right. So, like my scrapyard, I've done videos on that, and my scrapyard's still 3 feet long. Whereas you go to a lot of people's layouts and stuff like that, they got a scrapyard, but it's like 8 by 10 inches. Does 1 or 2 cars type thing, and it looks great and everything else. But no, I've got to have 5 tracks in it and 3 feet long, and both my yards on my main level are 8 feet long each type thing with like 12 tracks across both ways. That part I kind of had to do to make it what I want. That's what I base my whole layout off of, is these 2 yards down here. But so the selective compression part, again, putting in all these double slips on the second level, running it back. You guys will see in this upcoming video, even my container yard that I'm doing up for container crane, I guess, and a bunch of containers and stuff like that. It's still 4 feet long by 4 feet across. Like, just can't do it small.
You're fortunate that you have the room.
Yeah, but again, having the room is one thing. But again, if I could figure out selective compression, I could have more in it.
True. Yeah, you could have more industries, more, but yeah. One day you will.
Like getting into building these ITLA kits, and they're awesome kits and everything else. But when I get them built, they're like this big. It's like, where am I supposed to put that? It's so tiny. Again, selective compression, right? I can make the seam based on that instead of thinking this building should have been like 2 feet long, is what I thought it would be. But no, it's never going to be like that. Nobody's got a 2 foot long building type thing, you know?
So, Container Man. Container Man, who is that with you in your little photo? Is that John 2618?
I'm going to say yes to that.
Oh, it looked like it. I wasn't sure. Yeah, maybe, your layout will change again, probably, Sparky.
Oh, I hope not, but
But I'm saying, like, maybe you'll start compressing things and, I
Well,
think
my
one of the good things about your layout, Sparky, is you haven't locked yourself into things yet, right? By scenery and ballasting, and like you can still take stuff up and not have this major project.
yeah,
that's why none of my track is glued yet, because I'm terrified that once I make the decision to make anything and everything permanent, that something will take place that I will then immediately have to go in and destroy something that I didn't really want to destroy to begin with. That's why I'm deliberately holding off on gluing and ballasting anything until I'm like, this is what it's going to be.
Like I said, my yards have been down here for at least 3 years, so I'm finally getting to the ballasting of those and stuff like that. But the second level, all the new track work and stuff I'm putting in, again, we'll be running that for a year and a half before I do any major scenery or anything up top of it. So make sure it works first, right?
Yeah.
So since you started doing a little more operation and kind of connecting with the selective compression, do you have a specific train length in mind that helps with the decisions on the compression?
Again, I like to run the trains, and longer the better. So the way I kind of picture myself, if I'm out here by myself, is I still want that long train running, and it takes
Doobie Brothers.
it probably takes over 30 minutes to run my layout at track speed of 40. So
Wait,
I could do that.
again?
My trains take about 30 minutes to run the whole layout.
Cool.
So the way I see me doing operations by myself is have one long train, it runs the layout, and then I could run little switchers from the yards down here, run them up, drop off some cars, pick up some other cars, run the rest of the layout, come back. But I got to watch out for that main freight. So
when you say the whole layout, is that every level or just?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that up and down, or is that just? Gotcha.
Yeah, it's from this point to this point.
Right.
So 30,
That's
32 to
about
34
what it
minutes.
takes on mine as well, give or take.
That's pretty awesome though, because
Yeah.
you can still do that, right? You can still run those long trains to keep you happy, and then when people come, they can go and switch.
Well,
Now,
the other good thing about the bigger layout and longer runs and stuff like that is even when you have people over here switching, they get distracted. So it takes a long time before an accident actually happens.
yeah, that's cool. So, can you still run these big trains and do switching at the same time?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, that's cool.
Just kind of makes it a
Well,
sport that way, right? So
Happy New Year, everybody. Forgot to say that.
So the other
So-
thing, like I said, on the second level, I've started doing a container yard. And again, you watch videos and stuff like that of people doing the concrete and putty and stuff like that. Yeah, that's not as easy as it looks either. So
Yeah, yeah.
and then trying to get the paint right and everything else. Right now, mine's black. I went from concrete to, well, now I guess it's asphalt. So
Sparky, do you run any steam or is it just diesel?
I got the big boy, the Challenger, and a 06
That's right. That's right.
that I will run on the layout. So
I forgot about those.
They all navigate the helix
Yep.
well.
oh yeah, yeah.
What model is the big boy?
BLI, I'm pretty sure.
BLI. Wasn't sure if they offered one or not.
Yeah, Walters is coming out with.
If they offered one in narrow gauge, I'd go ahead and
Right.
get it.
Walters is coming out with container yard, like the concrete that you can stick together. But geez, you would probably need 50 kits to do your container yard.
Yeah, like I said, it's 4 feet by 3 feet, basically. So
Yeah, I don't know how big each kit is.
yeah, I went to the hardware store and I bought the medium-sized tub of the grout. And I thought, well, I'll never use more than this. Like, it's just going to dry up and everything else. And of course, I got halfway done and I ran out. Like, oh man, really?
Got to get another.
Yeah. So then I went and bought the big one, and I only used a quarter of it. So
Is it the sanded grout
nah,
or unsanded?
yeah, I'll have to sand it and stuff. But
No, he means like grout that has
Yeah.
sand in it.
Or maybe I'm confused at what
Like the
Is it-
smooth grout.
joint compound? Or
yeah, it's just like joint compound for filling holes and stuff like that on drywall.
Okay. So it's not actual grout or sanded grout, because I've seen a lot of people use that too.
Tile grout.
Yeah, tile grout.
Yeah. No, this is just
It
joint
makes
compound.
really good earth.
Yeah.
I had never used any of it, but I've
It
done
looks
very
good.
little scenery.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
And doing an area so big, of course, when it dried, I got lots of cracks and stuff in it. So
Yeah, it's
took a
usual.
lot more sanding and stuff like that.
You have any water scenes on your layout? You do have a bunch of bridges, right?
Yeah, on the second level's a river that the tracks follow for about 1/3 of the layout in the back corner. So, and then on the top level also, there's another bridge that I got from the UK. And eventually, I want to make a little beach scene underneath all that with people at the beach, water on both sides and stuff like that. So, we'll get there.
Yeah, that's right. But the main thing is you can run trains.
Exactly. My layout all started with the Bachman Easy Track. So I come out here and I ran Bachman Easy Track right off the bat as soon as I had the first level done.
What's you
And-
do with all that track?
I sold it the last time I was at a
Cool.
train show. So
Yeah.
I actually got a table and got rid of a lot of it, but I had 2 totes full of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do have enough left that I can do like an oval and a bit more. So, but that's to answer the question in my track plan. That's how I used to do my track plan. Was I just talk out the Bachman Easy Track, I had pretty much every switch that they offered and everything else. And I just put it together. If the track plan worked, then I traced it out, put torque down, and put the regular track down. So
I remember last year you and um, Sean,
John, yeah,
yeah, set up a table. Where was that? In your yard or somewhere else?
yeah, just outside the door here.
And you just set up a couple tables, showed everybody how easy it was to build the layout.
Yeah, it took
You
us about
did-
3 hours to build the whole layout. So
Yeah, you did it in like, no time.
yeah,
Like, I mean, so it's
yeah,
easy to start. It's easy to get into. This hobby is pretty easy to get into if you wanted to.
yeah. They made the kits make it easy, like the starter
Yeah,
layouts and stuff that you get like that. It's all Snaptrack, right? So
yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things is people thinks they see like layouts like Sparky's and Dennis's, and they it looks cool, it's awesome, they want to do it, but it's so intimidating to do it, and they feel that I don't know. This is just my thoughts on it. They feel that that's what they got to do to get into it, when it's totally not true. I mean, you could set
Yeah.
something up, and
well, I remember when I first started and did the YouTube stuff, and I had the Bachman Easy Track, and it was the one down in the basement, and I had half my comments on videos were, oh, you got to do real track, you got to get rid of that fake Bachman Easy Track and stuff like that. And that's one of my biggest regrets, is getting rid of my Bachman Easy Track. That
Yeah.
stuff snapped together so well, and the way Bachman upgraded their track system, it was a good track to run trains and layouts and stuff like that. So anybody actually making a layout with the Bachman Easy Track and stuff like that, and people are
Yeah.
telling you get rid of it, don't. I
No,
wish I would have kept it and
don't listen
did this
to
whole
them.
layout with that stuff. So
Same thing with Kato Unitrack. Look at Roy
Yeah.
Smith, right?
yeah,
Roy Smith. I mean, what he did with Kato Unitrack, right? I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's like, don't get trapped into, I need to be this because this person's doing it. It's all just have fun. Build
Well,
something.
That's the key, is to do what you want
I
to
gotta take this.
do. And in my opinion, kind of do your best to ignore the noise, because there's
A lot of
like
noise.
he
man.
said, all of the comments, there's always so much noise. There's always going to be somebody telling you what you should or
Yeah.
should not do, or whatever, and do what you want to do, learn and progress, if you want to call it that, or whatever, but do what you want to do.
It's okay. It's okay to help people and to guide people, but when you start saying you should do this and you should do that and you should do, it's like that's totally like unacceptable.
Yeah, you
to
never
me.
judge anybody else.
Yeah,
what they're
it's
doing.
totally unacceptable. It's like
I
you
agree.
preface by saying this is what I did. Right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. This is what I did. Don't sit there and tell me that you should do what I did. That's totally that's the
Right.
worst.
And when it comes down to it, the results of whatever your efforts are, there's only one person that those results should matter to, and that's you. If you're
Yeah.
happy with the results, then drive on. If you're not happy with the results, take a step back, ask the question, how can I improve on what I'm trying to do so that I get the results that I want? That's the bottom line.
the one channel I keep looking at quite a bit right now is Kyle, and he's got the Bachman Easy Track. He's just got the flat plywood. He put a grass mat over top of his layout,
Right.
and you can hear it in his voice. He wants more, but due to financial restraints, he can't just jump on it and do everything all at once, right?
Right.
And I keep looking at his layout going, I wish I was there. I wish that was my layout. Just, yeah, the Empire's great and everything else, but to be so basic, simple, and take it back to having fun. And I love watching his whole update strategy right now of Oh,
So,
well, I wish I could make it longer. Well, why? You can run trains now. You don't need another 2 feet. Like,
well, that leads me to have to ask you a question then, Sparky. You say, are you not having fun now? What you have?
oh, sure I am, but try to take yourself back to the beginning when this was just something you were just getting into. For all of us, we should do that every once in a while when you start getting frustrated or something. Take it back. This is what got me into the hobby. This is why I'm doing the hobby. And YouTube's great for reminding you of that stuff. You can go
Yeah.
back and look at who's just starting out and go, yeah, I remember those days. And that was pretty cool. So,
Yeah. So I follow this guy, Kenny, Adventures with Kenny and Debbie, and he's like an RVer, biker dude. Now like he comes into my chats and now he likes trains. Now he's building a layout. And he got a couple Bachman kits and he's doing just that. Easy track and like a couple weeks and he's building buildings and like he's like having fun, right? It's like, but if somebody would have said you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, that would have probably he's probably the type that wouldn't listen to it. But those people that get that attitude of you should do this and you should do that, they're the worst thing for any hobby. Any hobby.
And they're
I've had-
everywhere.
Yeah, they're
I
everywhere.
had someone
Yeah.
reach out to me through email. I'm not going to say I get emails every month, but occasionally I'll have people reach out to me. And someone shared with me that when they first got started, someone talked them out of HO and into N scale because I don't remember why off the top of my head. And he basically sold off all of his HO stuff, got everything in N scale, started building the layout. And before he got very far into the build, he's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
he sold off all of his N scale stuff and then went back to HO. And that's one thing that I would definitely caution anyone about. I forget who said it, but one or two people that you trust that kind of encompasses the vision of what you're trying to accomplish or the how, the methodology, and go with that, and then ignore everything else and just try and make sure that what you're doing is best for you. Because I mean, there's no end to the number of people who will tell you what you should do or what you did wrong.
Well,
Joe Rader in comments made a good point. Find that.
Let me find
It wasn't too far up, too far back.
this
But
one.
that's exactly right. Yes, you could do this. Yeah.
Well,
Give them an alternative.
and Chris Brew can chime in on this too with the 1.5" scale hobby. There's people that want to get in that so badly. It's so expensive that they'll start with something really simple, small that they can just ride, and then you get people that tear it apart. It's not big enough, or you did this wrong, and it drives them out of that hobby.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're not just in model railroading. They're in every aspect of anything. Yeah.
Even
that's a good point, because I think there are in my experience, when it comes to the people who telling you that you did it wrong or whatever, the second you go to look at what they're doing right, they've offered nothing. Not to say that maybe they don't have a layout that's fantastic, but in my experience, very few people with fantastic railroads don't put it out there, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of interesting thought that someone's going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do, and then when you go to figure out, well, what are they doing, and you can't find what they're doing. They're just telling you that your layout sucks, or you did this, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm still getting comments like that every once in a while. Of, oh, you got this flat layout. It doesn't do anything, and it's like, guess you haven't really watched too many of my my video said, you know, the whole helix back here that does something like. Oh, it's just a plywood layout. Well, you got to start somewhere. So,
Yeah.
And
but
we had
one
53 people in chat at one point. I think that's a new record.
awesome
How many?
Yeah,
How
I
many?
don't think we've hit 53 yet.
Oh,
because I was
no.
late. I added dramatic effects, so everybody came to see if I showed
That's
up.
right. See, need you more often, Sparky.
We get trying, we're kind of down to our last 5 minutes here. There's been lots of really good comments. It's hard to
Yeah.
engage and read the comments at the same time.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, Steve, aren't you and I one of the originals?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we go way back. The Blue Wrenches on Steve Brown's channel.
Yep. I still pop over there and watch his channel every once in a while. But
Yeah. Boy, he really downsized, didn't he?
yeah, he did.
Man.
I'm actually trying to do that with mine to a certain degree there, huge asshole.
Give your little figures a little history too.
Huh?
Give your figures on your layout a little history.
Big figurines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy Billy, he's the one that's always drunk when he's building in any scratch build that ends up at not a 90-degree angle or whatever. It's Jimmy Billy's fault because he's always drunk, you know.
You know, Chris, that's right. Chris says the best people will ask, why did you do it that way, and allow you to explain the approach to what you did.
Correct. The most recent one that I had that was fun, somebody came in and I can't remember exactly what they said, but they told me that I had the boiler house
Oh yeah, that
on
guy.
the wrong side of the
Building.
wrong side of the building, and I never designated the boiler house as the boiler house. He made the assumption that the two buildings that I was messing with and put in front of my mine was a boiler house, and so therefore it was completely wrong, and it was a good idea, but I'm like,
You did it wrong.
I did it wrong, but you have no idea what I'm even doing. You know, you watch the video long enough to find something to correct, dropped a comment, and then I'll never hear from you again.
Trolls.
I don't even
Yeah.
pay attention to them.
I call them drive-bys. You know,
That's good.
they're drive-bys. They're not subscribers that want to know why you're doing something, what your methodology is, what your, you know, the whole concept of everything that you're doing. They're just there to watch long enough to drop a comment to let you know that you either did it wrong, should have done it this way, or whatever.
It's a lot of them everywhere. It's not just in this hobby; it's in everything.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Everything. In the real world, in hobbies, every hobby, they're everywhere.
I think you need to rip everything out, Heath, and move to HO scale. I think you would have so much more fun. Your operations would be more meaningful if you had switched to HO.
No, here's what you really need to do, Heath, is not post things to YouTube and social media. Then you won't have those problems.
Neither do I, Mark. Neither do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's critics out there about everything. So
Yeah, everyone using NC and soundtracks must switch to ESU and Digitrax. You know. Very interesting. Well, I think that's probably our show. Sparky, you want to leave us with anything that you got coming up in the near future that we should know about or anything like that?
I'll try to get that layout update video out hopefully by the end of today.
Meet and greet. Meet and greet.
Meet and greet I'm still working on.
Oh,
Lake Erie in New York, I can tell you that much.
okay.
So if you look that up, still trying to put all the pieces together. I don't know what it is with my meet and greets. I get an area, I get somebody. We start from there, but it always comes down to the last couple months where everything gets stuck together.
So it is.
The person that owns this railroad wants to go above and beyond, and it's like, no, you got to slow down. Like, we're not doing that. He wants to bring a steam locomotive in, so I don't want to incur a lot of extra charges on a little short line type thing. That's all I'm basically gonna say. So
Okay.
you'll have to
Sounds
wait.
fun. I can't wait.
All right. Well, that's the show. Thanks
Great guys.
Thanks for being with us, Sparky, and
Yeah.
we'll see you around. And everybody enjoy
See
the
everybody.
weekend.
We'll
Thanks
see you
for
next
joining
week, guys.
us.
Thanks.
Bye,
Good week.
everybody. Awesome.